What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Part-Time Watchers podcast with Keith and Lorcan, talking everything in the world of pop culture, movie news, TV news, video games, comic books, you name it, and we might talk about it part-time. Lorcan, how are you doing?
Surviving. Just about, though. Yeah, it's actually good. I'm getting used to quarantine. It's like a Stockholm syndrome. I'm starting to actually kind of enjoy it. I'm like, I'm definitely getting fitter. I'm going out for more like runs and everything like that. I'm getting more work done. I'm getting more video games and more TV and stuff watched. So it's actually not the worst thing in the world, bar, a lot of people dying and all that sort of crack.
Yeah, outside of like the actual, outside of the terribleness of quarantine and the lockdown and everything, like in your own little bubble, you can kind of, depending on what situation you're in, like you said, you're making the best of it in the situation you're in.
Oh yeah.
It's been interesting now. A lot of like the tech companies, this is nothing to do with movies, written, but I see like Facebook and whatever have had like you can work from home for the rest of the year, and then Twitter just outright said that you can work from home forever. So it's interesting how like a lot of tech companies are just like, hey, everything's fine with people working from home, so we can just make this like an option, like going forward, way more than they did before.
Like I work for a semi-tech company as well, and we transitioned, and there was really no transition at all. Like bar face-to-face meetings, like everything else is totally doable online. And I think our company, like we're planning to move anyway, and the idea is that most of the staff can just stay at home. And I was like, all right, cool. That sounds good to have that as an option. So it's going to be weird moving forward as well, so it's going to be interesting. But listen, I'm not going to digress because I get to spend more time watching crap TV shows. It's been a week of like pretty good TV shows for me anyway, and we can get into it later. But yeah,
we'll get into that once we get to random recommendations. But before we get on to any of that stuff, let's hit a bit of movie news, and let's hit on something that got a lot of people very antsy this week. Antsy.
Don't hit it too hard, Keith. It's too weak. It's too weak because it won't work out.
Because it's too lazy. Opposite of you. You said you're getting fitter in your time in quarantine. You're exercising more. Not everybody apparently is doing that, Lorcan. And among the people that are apparently not doing it is none other than Batman himself, Robert Pattinson. So I don't know how anyone that's listened to this podcast hasn't probably read about this online, but basically Robert Pattinson was being interviewed for Variety or something, and he was basically asked about like, oh, how's things going, like how's the Batman prep going now that like the movie's kind of shut down until lockdown's over. And he was saying that his personal trainer has like left him a food plan and left him like a dumbbell and a kettlebell and something else, and he's basically saying that he's doing like less than nothing. He's like maybe one day a week or something. I can't remember the exact quote. Basically he's saying that he's doing no exercise for it, while his co-star, what's her name, the playing Catwoman? Oh, I can't remember her name. But basically, while she was saying that she's like working out like 5 days a week, like staying in shape and everything for the role. And I just find this so interesting because it's like there's two ways of looking at it, and like we don't know which is which, but there's a fair idea which one's right. And it's one that like Robert Pattinson is just like a lazy rich asshole that's like, oh, I'm not working out, and if you're working out, you're part of the problem, and that's why I'm going to be a normal Batman. Like, so there's one side looking at it that way, but then there's another side of it that's like he's definitely trolling people.
Yeah, totally.
Like he's 100% trolling this interviewer, and the entire internet. Like when I read it first, I'll be honest, I was like, what the hell? You're playing Batman, you're not working out. But then I was like, he's definitely taking the piss.
Yeah,
but yeah, like the internet just lost its mind.
I think there's also a difference between, not working out to be in the same form as like, we'll say like a Hugh Jackman for Wolverine. Like that's not Robert Pattinson. That'll never be Robert Pattinson. But like, he's definitely still fit for a Hollywood type. He's still going to be pretty buff. And the thing about Batman as well, like Batman's in an armor covered suit as well, which is going to kind of make up for the look of that. Like the only thing that's going to change in this is that if there's any sort of like, we'll say a topless scene of him working out or something like that, he's not going to look super duper buff. But like, I don't even think if this movie is going to have that. So like it's a different take on Batman as well. So I'm really not that bothered by it as well. I'm just happy he's Batman. And like Bruce Wayne as well, like, probably plays better being slim, I suppose, as well. Not super absolutely maxed out, kind of buff. I think yeah, like I think it's going to be a different take on a Batman as well, and I'm actually okay with it. But yeah, like the internet kind of exploded on this, and I didn't see what the big fuss is about. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, well, like that's I mean, the only way I'd look at it is that if he was being in any way serious, if he was being in any way serious, the only way I'd look at it is that like if I'm watching a movie and he's doing all these Batman things, like he's going one on like
Mhm.
10 guys and taking them all on, and he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop. If I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, there's no way he's in the shape to do that, then that's an issue. Like if you're watching
True.
the movie, but
Yeah.
like that's what I mean. I think like everything that they're going to do in the movie, whether or not he works out, like for one, if he's playing Batman, he'd want to be in
Mhm.
good enough shape. Like he doesn't need to be, like you said, Hugh Jackman, six
Yeah.
pack and training 3 hours a day every day for 20 years to play the role. It doesn't need to be like that, but like you need to believe that he's doing these things that's going to completely take you out of the movie.
But like, yeah. So the issue is that like I don't think he'll go up against 10 people per se. I think they'll do the approach of like the stealthy detective as well. Like I think he'll be taking them down one on one while they're kind of like their backs are turned type of thing as well. Like he'll tactically take them out rather than just being a bruiser who shows through a front door and just kicks the head in of like 10 people. Like, but like as you said before, like he's definitely working out. Like he's like there's definitely a bit of trolling in this too. But like
Mm.
yeah, like he probably isn't going to be that giant Hulk and Batman that we've had,
Yeah.
I suppose for
If
since
if you even
yeah.
if you even look at the interview, like the for G, like it's GQ or Variety or whoever it is, like he took photos of himself in his apartment because he's in quarantine. Like to be fair, the way he came off in it, where he's like, "Oh, I don't know what day of the week it is," and blah blah blah. All like if you read the article, it does read like a douchey celebrity who's, "Oh, he's
Mm,
on quarantine in this amazing hotel room and whatever." But like that's what I mean. Like I don't like I've seen other interviews with him where he's clearly being like sarcastic, and like the way like British people are sarcastic and the US people just don't understand it at all
it's true.
sometimes. I don't know, Irish people just don't get the humor that you have. So he's clearly just like really dry and really sarcastic with some of the stuff that he's saying, and people are just like, "Oh my god, he's what? He's not working out to be Batman." And like, if you read the comments for what they are, yeah, it makes it sound like he's a douchebag. But if you're kind of like, oh well, like he's probably trolling. Like, look at the photos he took of himself in his hotel room, and like he's surrounded by like crappy food and stuff. Like clearly he's having a bit of a laugh, or you'd assume that he's having a bit of a laugh. Either that, or he's had a complete breakdown while in quarantine.
Could be a
And
bit
it
of
is,
both.
yeah, it could be a bit of both, to be honest. But yeah, either way, like I'm totally not worried about what he's going to be like as Batman or anything. And like you said, I don't watch a Batman movie to see him like shirtless in a scene to be like, oh my god, he's such a brute. Like if that's not in there, but he's still awesome as Batman, because like we know he's an incredible actor and he's talked about the
Mm,
role multiple times and why he's excited for it in different ways that are looking at it. So I'm just curious to see how it turns out. And if it turns out crap and he's no good and like he looks too slim or something, then if people want to freak out about him not training, freak out about it then.
yeah,
But let's wait until we see the movie first and then judge it.
totally agree.
But yeah, Robert Pattinson is a rich lazy asshole according to the interview. And someone who's not struggling with this quarantine, someone who's doing very, very well, is a certain soon-to-be trillionaire, apparently,
Oh,
Jeff Bezos, the
oh,
Amazon CEO.
he's
This
so
this story
gross.
that
I've no idea why. I just see photos of him and I just think he's so gross. Like I really don't like Amazon. I think are a really scummy company. I really don't like it. And the fact that he's becoming a trillionaire and essentially gonna monopolize the world is really scary. And speaking of the whole monopolization of everything, he's gonna take away some of our best shows, isn't he? Put
what
them
do you
on
mean he's
their
going to take with?
the well, so he's planning to buy AMC. Is that correct?
Yeah, so he's planning to buy AMC Theatres, not the studio, the
Oh,
actual.
just the
Yeah,
theater
so
chain. Oh,
yeah,
that
so
could
the
be
theater
worse
chain.
though.
Well, so the theater chain in the US, so the major one is AMC Theaters, which is like
Yeah.
they've got a huge amount of theaters in the US, and then in over here in Europe, I think in Ireland, the UK, they also own Odeon Cinemas, which we'd be more familiar
Hmm.
with over here. We don't have AMC, but they basically the company that owns all these studios, they are going through a serious amount of trouble because of the whole
Mm.
lockdown. Because just before the lockdown, they had spent like $5 billion on renovating loads of their
Yeah.
theaters, getting like nicer seats, nicer sound systems, better screens, like Dolby Atmos sound and screen and stuff in the theater. So they pumped a load of money into it and some kind of like a subscriber thing. I can't remember what it was called. So to get more people to go to the movies, so they
Hmm.
pumped loads of money into it, knowing that over the next 5 to 10 years they'll make a lot of it back. But they went into a huge amount of debt, and then
Hmm.
as soon as they rolled it out, the quarantine hit and the lockdown hit and cinemas started going under. So they're in like a huge amount of trouble now, trying to just stay afloat. But like people have been saying like, oh, they're going to struggle to come back, but someone's going to buy them, because like
totally.
if they own so many screens, someone's going to buy them, someone's going to own them. And the rumor is that Jeff Bezos and Bezos, whatever.
Yeah.
The rumor is that them with Amazon and all the money in the world are thinking about buying AMC Theatres, which would mean that they would own hundreds of thousands. They would have a huge, not monopoly on the cinemas in the US, but they would own the majority share of cinemas in the US, and the Odeon cinemas over here in Europe. So like it's like you said, it's kind of a monopoly situation if they do buy it, where they're just going to own so much and have the Amazon already own so much and make so much money. So like I can get why people would not want it, but at the same time, like it'd be an interesting partnership, because like the amount that Amazon is so much to do with online shopping and online tickets and all that kind of stuff. So like if they then merged with a cinema company and you like bought your tickets on Amazon, and they had like Amazon obviously have a load of their original shows and movies and stuff on Amazon Prime. So it'd be interesting to see what they could do if Amazon did own like a theater company. It'd be interesting to see how they'd mix it up, because obviously they have like the Amazon stores where you go in and you like scan your phone in or something, you take things off the shelf and put them in your bag and you walk out and you don't even meet anyone, but it still charges your card and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how they integrate new technology and stuff into theaters if they did buy them. And like there's not many companies in the world that could buy another company and just pay off $5 billion worth of debt in like the click of a finger and not even have an issue with it,
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. And actually the more I think about it as well, they could go to a place now where they could provide like en masse entertainment under one subscription service. Like they've pivoted a lot of their delivery stuff into Amazon Prime, and then with Prime Video and isn't it Audible they own as well? So like they've pivoted all that under one Amazon Prime umbrella as well. I wonder if they could do something with theater change. Comixology is under there as well. So like things like this, and if they get a theater chain in there, I wonder if they could have like an Amazon Prime Plus, we'll say entertainment package or something along those lines, where it almost works as in a free movie a month or something like that as well is included into that, to try and encourage people to go back in, and maybe even lower the price of cinema tickets, because especially in Ireland in recent years, the prices of cinemas have like massively increased because it's become like a destination again. And yeah, I just wonder if this could change that moving forward as well. It'd be certainly interesting, but it still bothers me that this is all going to go under Amazon's umbrella. And like, it's kind of cool to have that sync up and synergy between everything, but it's also scary because we're starting to see, I suppose, everything that was slightly independent start to become a little bit more,
That's it.
Yeah.
But like, think about that. Like, imagine this, like and this is like 90% is already happening. Like you wake up in the morning and you're using, like you do your online shopping on Amazon. You can go to like a physical store and do your literal weekly shopping in an Amazon store. You buy your comics on Amazon. You buy on Comixology. You buy your books on Audible on like with Amazon. And now you're going to be buying your movie tickets, and you're going to be going to like Amazon theaters. Like the amount of stuff in a day that one person can spend and give money towards Amazon. Like it's no wonder they're making so much money.
And then people are on their Alexa, which is Amazon. Amazon have their essentials in everyone's house. They want to get smart fridges as well, so they're talking to each other. So there's automatic, like the whole process by which Amazon are trying to build things moving forward, I actually find really terrifying. So like that's why I'm really not comfortable with things moving more and more towards it. And I really want something to come out of the blue and kind of get Jeff Bezos, because it's fucking terrifying what's happening.
Well, the only other company, like the only other companies that are close to doing that is like Google and like Apple, and they're already in the exact same boat where they own so much of your day-to-day life. So it's kind of hard to see, unless some random billionaire that we've never heard of comes out of the blue. But I don't know.
Good billionaires. That's the twist. There's no good billionaires.
Yeah, I'm thinking Amazon are going to be like the Skynet in a couple of years, where all of a sudden they're going to come up with some kind of an AI, and that AI is going to lose its mind and start trying to kill us all through our phones and they're going to be selling us books to make us lose our mind, and then they're going to be brainwashing us in the cinemas. It's going to be terrifying.
We even make it that far, if we even make it like another 20 years, I'll be surprised. We'll see how it goes.
Well,
anyway,
moving on from end of the world movie news. Some positive news, which this is crazy how many times this has happened. But again, we're coming to you to tell you that the New Mutants movie has a release date.
Again.
So again, this is legitimately the fifth time. This movie, so this X-Men movie, the New Mutants, was meant to be released in 2017.
Yeah, the
So it
same
was
month
finished.
as Thor Ragnarok, wasn't it?
Something like that. Like this movie was finished and ready to be released in 2017, and it's now 2020, and it's finally getting another. We said finally a couple of times, so it's got a new release date again. Whether or not it comes out now, that's another question when
Well,
it
see,
gets to
that's it,
August. But
because it has to go to theaters, as far as I know. Isn't part of that
yeah,
deal that it needs to go to theaters and then go to HBO or something strange like that? So, but
no, they'll
like,
probably
if
put it
theaters
in
aren't open, then what are they going to do? Try and push it back again?
Yeah, well,
Like,
like they had 200 theaters open in the US this weekend, so they're getting back to opening them again. So unless there's like another huge hit with the pandemic, hopefully theaters will be opening this summer and kind of going. So they are clearly hoping on it. And like, I don't even know if I'm going to go see it in cinemas at this stage. Like, I probably will, just purely out of curiosity, because it's been so
mhm.
long that it's been. Like, if it comes out and it gets terrible reviews instantly, then no, I probably won't. But
I am excited by it. Like, it's gotten
yeah,
to the point where, like, I saw it at the start and I'm like, I'm really not into this. To the point where, like, I've heard so much about it. We've been talking about it so much. I've seen the trailers a lot. And then, like, I'm just like, do you know what? Like, this could be interesting. So now I'm at the point where, like, I do want to see it. And, like, yeah, I suppose if it comes out in theaters and I feel like I can go to a theater here, then yeah, I probably will go. Yeah. I could see it
yeah,
happening anyway. And like, yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what a kind of, like, I'd say a time capsule, but like it's 3 years ago, so it's not really that far ago. But like, be interesting just to see that whole take on like the horror, kind of
yeah,
version of this. So yeah.
yeah. What it comes from. Lorcan, I know you're a big fan of The Rock.
I don't hate him. Like I think it's made out that I hate him. Like I don't like him as much as I used to. I think he's very full of himself. I think he's very
Mm-hmm.
overrated. Cool
Mm-hmm.
guy. But yeah, yeah, I don't hate him. Don't hate him. I'll just put that on the record.
You're backtracking now all of a sudden. So The Rock and Emily Blunt obviously have that Disney movie Jungle Cruise that was meant to be coming out this summer, got pushed to next summer. But clearly people must have, or either they loved working together or people just loved seeing them together. Behind the scenes, it seems like they were getting on well together, because they're making another movie with The Rock and Emily Blunt together. But this time it's going to be a Netflix movie, and it's going to be a Netflix superhero movie. So it's based on a comic book called, look at us talking about comic books. It's based on a comic book called Ball and Chain. Have
Nice.
you ever heard of this before?
Never, never.
No, you never. I've seen it pop up in Comixology before, but I haven't actually read it before. But it's basically a story about a couple who are, I don't know if they're married or not, but they're a couple that are together and they start kind of getting sick of each other. Maybe they're a married couple and they're about to get divorced, they're about to split up, but basically they end up getting superpowers somehow. I think it's through like a storm or something. But they end up getting superpowers, but the superpowers the
Through a
superpowers,
storm or something.
yeah, some fucking, you know what it's gonna, some random thing is gonna give them superpowers. They get hit with lightning or something, but they end up that their superpowers only work when they're together. So they start, I don't know, being superheroes, and they have to figure out if they want to stay together, or the whole thing of them being divorced and staying away from each other. It sounds like I haven't read the comic, so I've done it no justice there
Yeah.
in that little brief intro. But it sounds like an interesting premise. I mean, it does seem
No.
like it's going to be another one of those movies where, especially if it's a Netflix film, like, good on Netflix for getting like big name actors for these kind of things, but I don't
Mm,
know, like, I just don't know if I'm going to be fit to buy it. It just seems like
no.
another one of those Rock, like, everybody, he's amazing, look at him now, he's
Yeah.
a superhero again, and he's amazing, and
This
I
is
don't know.
very Rampage-esque. Like, I guarantee it's going to be
Yeah,
insufferable. Like, this is the type of movie that I don't like The Rock
insufferable.
in. Yeah, he'll be insufferable in this movie. And like, Emily Blunt's a fantastic actress. What is she doing? Like, what is she doing in this? Like, it could turn out to be good as well. But just from that synopsis, everything about it, I can picture what that movie is. I can picture the two of them together. They get superpowers and they're like, oh, well, we're both kind of assholes. So like, we're going to have these powers and it's going to be cool. And then they're going to really hate each other. Then they're going to, whatever. There'll be some sort
They
of
fight
twist or
for a little, and
loophole.
then they're friends.
Exactly. And then there'll be,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a bad guy who's like a guy in like a cape or some shit like that. And then he's going to be there and he's going to be like, oh, well, I can give you powers if she has no powers or if she dies. And then it'll be a whole thing about like, oh, maybe, and then, in the end,
Oh, maybe.
in the end, they're just like, do you know what? We're just not right for each other. And that's okay. And then we're like, oh, whatever. You know, like I feel like this is going to be crap. It will be crap. Do you not think so? Do you not think this, like, just by
Oh,
the sound of
it
it?
totally
Yeah.
does not sound like anything I want to see.
Oof. I'll
And it's
watch
gonna
it.
be,
That's the sad thing. I will watch this, but it'll be
yeah. I mean,
bad.
it's gonna be on Netflix. We already have it, so we're probably gonna watch it when it comes out. But yeah, it's just like him and Emily Blunt. Like they come out at Disney. What's their
Hmm.
Disney Expo to talk about this film that they were doing, the Jungle Cruise movie, which, by the way, looks terrible.
Yeah,
That Jungle
looks
Cruise
just as
movie
bad as
looks.
this.
Yeah, it does
I haven't
look
seen
so bad.
anything, but looks as bad as this.
But it's another one of those where it's like he's just been. I can't describe what The Rock when you see him in movies now. It's just like you're trying too hard to be the cool
Yeah,
guy all the time. Like, look at you. You're 6 foot something. You're massive. You're shredded. You're already cool. Like, stop taking roles that try to make you even cooler. It's like,
yeah.
just you don't need to try so hard, man. You know, like
I
he's
think,
that's what he is. He's trying so hard all the time
yeah,
that sometimes you're
I
just like, chill out,
yeah. I
chill
think
out.
the time will come now as well where he's going to get like an actual kind of role. Like he'll get some sort of like, I don't know, like a proper deep role where he's a flawed character, and people are like, "Wow, The Rock is actually a good actor." You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah,
I don't think many people respect him as much now. Like he's very much that popcorn movie guy
yeah.
at the minute as well.
Well,
But I feel like he probably thinks that like, oh, you know, I'm highest grossing actor of like last year and whatever the last couple of years. Like maybe this is the time I go for something, and like maybe he gets like an interesting role, because like I do think he has something in him, but like yeah, he's
yeah.
just oh yeah,
But that's
his
he
last
should
couple
take
of
on.
roles.
He should take on more roles. Like, obviously, it's hard to put him in a movie and not make him the star, but like, because every movie he does, he's also producing as well. So he just
Yeah.
makes it about him. Like the
Oof.
one of his favorite roles for me is in Fast and Furious 5, where it's
Yeah.
not all about him, where he's kind of like he comes in and he's this new badass. Like that's cool. And
Mhm.
also in that Pain and Gain movie, which is not a good movie, but he was hilarious in it because he
Oh,
was like a bit part character. He was this ridiculous character. He was flawed. He was silly. He was funny. Like it's way better watching him in
oh,
those
and the other
situations.
guys as well, like the other guys with
Other
him and
guys,
Samuel L.
yeah,
Jackson, like you know, like they're his by far his best roles. Like I think
yeah,
so, like definitely where he's
yeah,
just you know he was trying to make it into the game before he became this kind of idol guy or whatever like that. Like it's
yeah,
just so much better when he is flawed, a bit of an asshole, you know, like
yeah.
or
So
a
look,
bad
Dwayne.
guy or something along those lines.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
know you're listening here, Dwayne. We know you're listening to us. Listen to us, two little nobody Irish guys. Stop being a movie star making billions of dollars and instead start taking on side roles where you're funnier and have a bit
I'm
more
telling you,
heart. That's what we
I
want
think
to see.
people would care more. I really do.
Yeah, well, anyways, surely one of these days he's going to start taking on a few more serious roles. So
I
until
think he
then,
will.
we'll just let him keep on doing his popcorn movies and making millions and millions of dollars, which is understandable.
Yeah.
It feels like every episode we have when we talk about TV news, we talk about The Mandalorian
Mhm.
because this show has just been casting left, right, and center like every week. Every week there's someone new cast.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it seems they're dropping it on Monday as well because it was 2 Mondays ago when we found out about Boba Fett coming back into it. And then this Monday, we found out that Katie Sackoff has been cast as a live action Bo-Katan in season 2 of The Mandalorian. Bo-Katan being a
Nice.
character that was popularized in the animated show. So in Clone Wars and in Star Wars Rebels. And Katie Sackoff actually voiced the character in both of those series as well. So it's really cool to see someone from the voice acting side of things, even though Katie Sackoff is obviously an actual legit actress. It's cool to see someone from a voice acting side of things come into like a live action role as well.
Yeah, like it's like this whole season of The Mandalorian season 2 is basically turning into like Rebels or what do you call
Yeah.
it, the Clone Wars. Like it definitely has that sort of vibe about it, and I know we talked about it last week to no end as well. It's just I hope all these people like I hope a lot of this is just fleshing out the universe. Do you know what I mean? Like I hope that Boba Fett doesn't have a giant role in next season. I hope the same with Bo-Katan, and you know it's just going to be interesting. Like I kind of want to see these people pop up to be like, this is the live action version, this is the flavor of this character, and this is what the
Yeah.
universe is. And I prefer that because I'm very, very excited. And every time I see
Mm.
these castings get made as well, I get really excited by it as well. But I also don't want it to take away from what was great about the first season of The Mandalorian. So yeah,
Mm.
like it's still exciting and good, but I really hope they don't lose the rung of themselves with all this additional kind of cast.
Yeah, well, what I've heard from like the rumors that seem to be going around is that they're basically only going to have like one episode maybe with like Boba Fett coming into it, or one episode with Ahsoka and Bo-Katan coming into it.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's definitely going to be involved in the Darksaber story.
Yeah.
With the other guy that had it at the end of the season, so it'll be curious to see how that goes. But it seems like what the rumor is that they're coming in for like maybe 1 or 2 episodes to kind of either set up a spin-off show or set up a new animated show.
Yeah.
That follows on from the end of Rebels. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. What I really hope they don't do is have these characters come in live action and show up for like 1 or 2 episodes and then spin it off and they go back into animated and then not be in live action again. Like if you're going to cast them and show them in live action, spin off into another live action show with them or something, rather than spinning off into an animated show. Because, you know, if you're going to show us them in live action, you know, that's what we're going to want to continue seeing. We're not going to want to go backwards and see an animated story with them with like 1 episode of live action in between, you know? So I hope, like, that's what you said. Like, the guys that are in charge clearly know what they're doing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I just hope that it's not just like a little tease and then back to animated, like the rumor has been going around about.
Yeah,
Did
like,
you ever
I could see another show happening.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely see spin-offs happening with this that aren't animated. So, like, yeah, I hope that direction they go, like, I suppose. Yeah.
Are you a big Star Trek fan?
I'm really not. Like this is something that I'm not. And I think you know I'm not as well. Like, I'll give it a go every now and again. Like, and I've watched, you know, classic episodes. I've watched some of Discovery. I've watched, well, like I suppose the one that I've watched is probably most like Star Trek is the Orville. The Seth MacFarlane one.
Yeah.
And like I've actually really
your favorite
enjoyed
Star
it.
Trek show is not a Star Trek show.
No, but it's not, but it kind of is. And I've watched it and like, listen, I'm aware of kind of everything that happens in the main kind of stories of all of them. And I've watched a lot of the most recent movies too. But like outside of that, I really don't have a craving for anything really Star Trek.
Yeah, did you watch Picard?
No, I didn't even bother. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't have the nostalgia or the affinity for that character. I've watched like a couple of episodes of. He was which one was he? He was Star Trek. I don't know which one he was. He was one of them. He wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, listen. Like, this is gonna piss a lot of people off. Enterprise. He was Enterprise, I think. So like, yeah, I just have no affinity to like. Towards it, and yeah, I just didn't even bother watching any of it. Did you? I think you did, didn't you? Yeah.
I watched the first 3 episodes of it, and yeah, like
thanks for throwing me under the bus there, by the way.
Yeah, well, I just asked you, did you like it, and you just dug your own hole for like 2 minutes there. You don't gotta start digging a hole. You can just be like, no, I'm not a big fan. I just leave it there.
Oh my god.
So yeah, no,
just let me insult a big fan base.
Yeah, neither of us are. I'm not going to insult the fan base now. I have major respect for all the fans of Star Trek that listen to the show. We just don't happen to be.
Their stupid show.
God! Well, we're Star Wars
like
fans, and yeah, like I can't say too much about the recent Star Wars stuff, bar the TV shows.
No, God, no.
But yeah. But no, so I watched the first couple of episodes of Picard, and I did enjoy that more so than I enjoyed Star Trek Discovery. I started watching Discovery when it came out first, and it just was not for me, because it, like the old Star Trek shows, I've seen a couple of episodes and I enjoyed parts of them. Then this new like Discovery just seemed like it was going for this mix of J.J. Abrams and the older style, and it just didn't really vibe well, and I just got incredibly bored watching it, to be honest. But this new show, I know in season 2 of Discovery, they brought in Captain Pike and they brought in Spock, and I think the other character's name is Number 1. So they brought those characters in, and I know that even Star Trek fans started enjoying Discovery more, because first season of Discovery, even Star Trek fans were like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. So in season 2, and they brought back those characters, I felt like more people got on board with the show, and like reviews started going up and people started enjoying it more. So they've done the right thing and done this spin-off show with those characters. Which is going to be Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which CBS basically just seems like a Star Trek channel now. CBS All Access, their streaming show, because all they have is Star Trek shows, essentially.
It must be doing good numbers. Like I definitely assume it's doing good numbers. Like, because as you mentioned before, their fan base is very avid. I probably will give one of these a go, maybe, depending on what the look is, I suppose. Like, I suppose if it seems like a brand new property and it's not a continuation on, then I might give it a go, because like some of the storytelling, some of the ideas are pretty good and solid, you know? So
yeah, and that's it. Like, if I haven't seen season 2 of it, so I haven't seen the take on these characters. But if they have a completely new, like it's a spin-off of Discovery, but like it's essentially going to be like a new version of the show with those
Yeah.
characters. So I'll probably check out the first couple of episodes, and if it feels very Discovery-esque, then I'll not stick on it. I'm assuming for us over here in Europe and stuff, that'll, because CBS All Access isn't over here, so it's on Netflix. I think Discovery was on Netflix, so I'm assuming this show will also show up on Netflix. So if you are a Star Trek fan and you're based in Europe, chances are you already know about the show, but it will be coming out. I think they're aiming for 2021 at some stage. So
Yeah,
I'll be curious to see what it's like more than anything.
Definitely aware of your dumb show, your dumb Star Trek show. Throwing shade, throwing heaps of shade.
Yeah, I actually put a poll up to see on our channel this week to see if many of our followers were Star Trek fans, and I think I actually can't even remember what the. I'm pretty sure the majority.
Don't say 100% of fans were.
100%, yes. Everyone that watched it. No, it was very 50-50. I think it came off like 70-30 or something in favor of being Star Trek fans.
Wow.
Yeah, but like,
do not apologize.
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll get someone on that's more of a Star Trek fan and we'll talk to them about it, and that'll we'll let you know about that, Star Trek fans, but until then you're stupid. More show announcements. So going on to Disney Plus, I feel like you enjoy. So they have announced that they are making a live action Percy Jackson.
So set me up. So
series.
After me like taking the piss of one of the most beloved kind of type of show properties, you're bringing me on to Percy Jackson, which is a beloved book show, but the movie was critically panned, and I actually liked the movie.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm pretty sure you did enjoy it, didn't you?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't like the second one. I thought the first one was quite good, and I read the first Percy Jackson book as well. And yeah, like the Lightning Thief is pretty far off what the book was, but I don't know. I found the story was kind of fun. Like I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, it was. It came out like 4 years later as well. I think it was the Serpents. What was it? Percy Jackson and like the Water Serpents or some shit like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely much more hated than the first one. But I remember really enjoying the first one. It's very like Harry Potter-esque, I suppose, as well. And I like anything that has, you know, a quest and you start off and there's the chosen one and all this sort of stuff. And then it was around the time when there wasn't a ton about, you know, the Greek gods. And I've always found that whole thing fascinating as well. So like, it was definitely fun at the time, and it's still a great kind of series, I think, as well. And I'm really excited Disney Plus are planning to do something with it, because I think it's a really hot property that they didn't nail the first time around. So like this could be massive, and like it all depends if they do movies or if they do a show. Like the property can be adapted in lots of different ways, and there's so much kind of room for, I don't know, like mature storytelling, but at the same time, you know, you could babyfy it as well and it'd still be pretty good because the story's really strong. So yeah, like I'm really excited by this. Have you seen any of the Percy Jackson films, like the first one, or well, obviously not the second one?
So yeah, no, I haven't seen the second one, obviously, which I didn't even know existed. But the first one, I remember I watched it and I don't remember disliking it, but I remember not really like super getting into it. Like the whole idea of it, I liked, because like similar to that, like you said, it came out around the time when there wasn't really much like good movies for like regarding like Greek mythology, and there's just so much there that you can do with Greek mythology, especially in something like that, like you said, a Harry Potter vibe where they bring it kind of more into like the current day and age. So that, in saying that though, that's one of the ways that they continuously ruin Greek mythology, is they bring it into like nowadays, and then you just have some like suave business guy is like I don't know, one of the gods, and you're like, this is stupid.
It wasn't as bad in Percy Jackson as far as I remember, because they had their own kind of area where like Pierce Brosnan was like a minotaur in it, I think, wasn't he? And he was like the camp leader. It was such a weird one. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan with long hair and a beard, and he was like half man, half horse, and it was pretty good. And like I like the setup that they had at that time in the camp, where they were all demigods, like they're all, you know, sons and daughters of famous gods. And I think it was what's her name, the one who was in like True Detective, she's loads of stuff as well, Daddario, I can't think of her name.
Rosario Dawson?
Yeah, no, Daddario, something Daddario. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But she was one of the kind of main characters in it as well. I think she was the daughter of was it Persephone or something like that? And then he obviously was the son of Poseidon. And, you know, it was really interesting where people were like, you know, oh, they're father is like a tier 1 god, you know what I mean, like part of like, you know, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, that type of thing. And then you have like the son of Hermes, and you know, like where they're like lower tier gods and like how they're treated. Like I really like the overall setup, and you know, even the modern stuff, as you mentioned as well, I didn't find it was that bad in terms of how they were bringing it in, where like they had Medusa, you know, kind of exist in like, it was a garden center as well, and that's why all the
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was
the
weird.
wooden it was weird, but I thought it actually worked to a degree as well. I
Yeah,
didn't
it was
hate
a
it.
cool scene. I remember that.
Yeah, like it's definitely a fun movie, and like I'd probably go back to it and still be like, this was good, like definitely flawed. It's kind of one of those movies that I think the premise and the overall take on things is good enough, but it just didn't land properly. Like it didn't get that the Harry Potter treatment, I suppose, as well, where it just wasn't, I suppose, critically beloved, and probably rightly so in certain parts. So that's why I'm really excited for just another kind of go with it, I suppose. And Disney could do this well. Like, think of the casting options they could have for this. Like,
Yeah, definitely, and it'll be interesting to see. Like, I hope they don't like make it too kid friendly. Like, obviously, it's
yeah,
going to be on Disney Plus. It's going to be aimed for kids, but I hope they go more, like you said, that kind of Harry Potter ish age vibe, where it's like
mm,
it kind of like you can still watch it as an adult and still enjoy it, and it's still a good film. It's not like, here, you watch,
yeah,
let your kids watch Percy Jackson kind of thing.
yeah,
Which is always kind of the danger when something like that comes to Disney Plus. But
it's true.
yeah, it'll be cool to see it. And coming to Disney Plus as well. Is it coming this summer? Next summer? So
It's
they've got
coming. It's coming now in 2 months. I think it's July.
yeah. So Disney Plus have got the rights to the actual recorded version of Hamilton. So
Hmm.
the very famous Broadway musical. So they've actually got like a version of it that was recorded when they done it on screen, and I think they were going to release it into theaters next year at some point.
Hmm.
But what they've done now instead is they're going to be just putting it on Disney Plus. So for all the people that have been trying to get tickets to Hamilton for years, you obviously won't get to see it live, but you can still watch it from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, and like this is something that I really hope sets a standard, because like this was one of the shows that I just kind of put myself down that I would never actually see this. I'll just experience it by people talking about it, and I'll never actually see a version of this, because so more often than not, all the Broadway shows have recordings of them, you know, from, you know, their first kind of like initial run with the original cast from the first year. All those recordings exist, but they never get shown. Like they're always kept to make sure people keep on buying tickets for Broadway and kind of off
Mm-hmm.
Broadway and that type of thing as well. And it's just a pity. Like I'd love to see things like Wicked and well, Hamilton was one of them as well live. But like I just didn't think I'd ever get to do it. But like obviously, as you said before, Hamilton, we're trying to bring this into theaters, actually being brought forward, and now it's going to be on Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure it's from their initial run, so back in 2015 when they had their original cast.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously, this is done by Lin Manuel Miranda, who a lot of people will know is like he's a really famous actor. He was in like his Dark Materials as well. Had a big kind of part to play in
Mary
uh,
Poppins.
Mary Poppins and In the Heights, and you know, like he's known for his kind of off Broadway and Broadway musicals, and you know, like there's probably never been a bad word said about this production, which has me super duper
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. But yeah, like I'm over the moon that I get to see something like this, because again, I didn't think I'd ever get the opportunity to see it. Yeah, so it's actually releasing now on July 3rd, so only about, you know, a month and a half away. So could not be any more stoked for this.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to and really looking forward to seeing it. Have you seen that episode of Some Good News, the John Krasinski show he's doing on YouTube?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's loaded up and I cannot wait to watch it. I kind of want to go
Yeah,
back and watch all of The Office again, like just from the start.
yeah, but they done an episode. So some John Krasinski is doing like a weekly thing on YouTube called Some Good News, where he
Hmm.
just talks about like the good news in the world. But they had an episode where someone on it was meant to go and see Hamilton, but then obviously the
Ah,
lockdown happened and whatever, and they basically got like the cast of Hamilton to come on the show, and basically like they all like zoomed in from wherever they were in the world, and they sang like one of the main songs from it. But it's
brilliant.
so weird to see it though, because like the girl that they were calling was probably like 12 or 13. She was a huge fan of it, and then they start singing one of the main songs of it, and it's just weird because like you're on this show called Some Good News, they're all singing to a kid, but then there's like curse words in it, they're talking about racism and everything, and it's like, whoa, this is like straight up and just weird seeing it in this capacity.
Nice and
And then the
heavy.
minute they start singing, yeah, exactly, the minute they start singing, they're all like super nice people, and you're like, that was a heavy song to be singing directed to like a 12-year-old
I
on
love the
this
12
show.
year old was just like, I don't know what this is in reference to. I haven't seen a musical yet.
Oh
Oh my
yeah, well
god,
she had like all, I don't know if she'd seen it before, but she had like all the songs and stuff herself, so she was a huge fan.
nice.
But yeah, it was just when I was watching the first time, I was like, this is strange. This is very strange. Um,
Nice.
Alrighty, so on to some gaming news, and we had some awesome news coming out in the world of
Hmm.
gaming this week. Um, so before we get on to Ghost of Tsushima, which is just awesome, which I want to talk about,
Hmm.
Unreal Engine the Unreal Engine has been one of the main kind of like gaming engines that a lot of like major games have been using over the years, and it's always been like kind of one of the trendsetters when it comes to like the actual engines that and platforms that have been used. But Unreal Engine 5, which is their newest version of it, so they've released a clip on PS5 of, it's probably about a 5 to 10 minute clip of gameplay from a game that's actually not going to be a
Hmm.
game. It's just purely created for this.
Yeah, it's just a tech
But
demo. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, just a tech demo. But oh my god, it looks beautiful. So it's
Yeah,
this
like
character, yeah, walking through like a cave, solving some puzzle, coming out of the cave, and then jumping off and like flying through this little like old like hilltop village kind of thing. But
yeah.
it's just, good god, it looks crystal clear. It looks like you're watching like not the character. The character is a little bit of a cartoony face, but outside of that, like the
The
cave and the
environment.
stonework,
Oh,
the environment, it just looks amazingly crystal clear. Like
yeah.
better than we've ever seen in any game.
The start of that tech demo when she walks into the cave and it's just the initial, do you know, the stones with the light on the kind of like the left hand side where it shows the stones kind of falling down and all the way the light's hitting off, and I just was like, wow, like that's so incredible. And then someone had a comparison of the Unreal Engine 4 tech demo and the comparisons between what that one showed versus this one, and it's like night and day, which is just
Yeah.
crazy because I look at that going like, that looks like a higher spec, you know, PS4 game as well, or PS5
Mm.
game, and what the kind of launch was a couple of years ago for the PS4, and the difference is night and day. Like it's just stunning. And it's kind of
Yeah.
sad that this isn't going to be like a title, because I saw this and I know it's only a tech demo and we didn't get to see much of it, but I found the whole thing super interesting, that I was kind of a little
Yeah.
bit upset to go like, oh, this sucks that it's not going to be like an actual game.
Totally,
But
and like the
yeah,
flying mechanics of the character, I was like,
it's
that's
pretty
exactly how
cool.
I want to fly in a game. Give me a game where I can do that. That looks amazing. Um, but yeah, like the whole thing, like it's incredible how clear it looked and how quick the frame rate was and how it looked so just amazing. Like you're, as the character's walking through, I'm not even looking at the character. I'm looking around on the screen because, like you said,
Mm,
like the environment just looks beautiful. And even when when the character walks into like the cave section where there's all the monuments and all the statues around, like there's parts of it where they just freeze frame on them and you're looking at the statue and you're like, that looks like a picture. It doesn't look
yeah,
like a video game, it looks like a picture. So obviously not every game is going to look like that when they release it, but like good developers that really push for that
yeah.
kind of look, it shows the scope that they have and the possibility that they have going into PS5.
Mhm.
And a lot of developers have come out and said that like the software, now I don't know a whole pile about software and stuff when it comes, or like the mechanics behind it all, but they're saying that like what they're able to create on the PS5 now going forward is up there with like the highest standard of PC gaming. And PCs have obviously always been like the highest standard when it comes to graphics and everything. So it's interesting now that they're coming out and saying that like the PS5 is at that level now, because um, consoles have never been at the same level as PC
Yeah.
when it comes to that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of games really take advantage of it, because obviously we haven't been told a whole lot about like massive like exclusive PS4 games coming out. So it'll be interesting to see what games come out that really take advantage of the Unreal 5 engine, because I'm sure whenever they do start announcing PS5 like launch titles, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to be linking it to that Unreal Engine 5 and that tech demo, because people are going
Yeah.
to want to see what that can do.
Yeah, it'll just be like the overall look and feel of this. Like think about the games that are going to be developed for the PS5 that we know are coming up, like the new God of War and stuff like that, and how amazing that's going to look with the scope of this engine. So like when we think about potentially what's going to come moving forward, and you know, maybe another kind of take into the Uncharted games that Naughty Dog might
Mm,
do as well. Like, you know, the idea that the studios are going to have this at their disposal is going to be just insane. You know, and then
yeah,
there's the idea of potentially CD Projekt Red going to revisit the Witcher series, and like that already looks
yeah,
incredible for early days PS4 on the
yeah.
Unreal Engine. So like, yeah, just crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
And one of the games that we did get to take a look at, obviously, it's not going to be a PS5 game. They will definitely do a PS5 version of it, I would say, when the PS5 launches. But this week we got to see a gameplay demo of Ghost of Tsushima. So Ghost of Tsushima, done by Sucker Punch, is PS4 exclusive, coming out in July. I think it's
Yep.
July 19th, and we've been excited for this game for a long time. I mean, I think I had this on like games I was excited for like 2019, because I assumed it was going to come out at that stage, but this is something we've been like really, really looking forward to, and it's just looked amazing. Everything we've seen so far. Excuse me. Where was I? Yeah, it's looked amazing with everything that we've seen so far. And then so they released this 18-minute gameplay video where the developers basically broke down the different kind of elements to the gameplay. And the whole way through it, like, one of the cool things, you've had a chance to kind of scan through, you haven't seen the whole
Oh
video,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Like I've watched like a decent amount of it. But yeah, like I've scanned through to get the main points. But like the game is just beautiful. Like I can't wait to play this game. Like it's very
Yeah.
Assassin's Creedy as well, but it almost has a little bit of Red Dead in it as well. Like there's kind of like a healthy mix of a lot of the bigger titles that we've seen recently. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of one of the things I had, like, the takeaway from it was that I'm excited for it, but I think it's more the combat mechanics that I wasn't too blown away with. But the one of the things that they have that's really cool is that they're trying to do away with the whole, like, pick a point in the map and then put that as your waypoint and then follow the map until you get there, and waypoints all over the place, and like using your map the whole time. And they're trying to make it more like you
Yeah.
learn from the environment, so you just are more immersed in the game, similar to kind of how Red Dead done it, where you're not just going to be looking at your mini map all the time, going from place to place and not taking in the environment around you. And it's more that when you're on the map and you look around you, you'll see a smokestack come, or a smoke like cloud coming from somewhere, and that'll be a waypoint that you can go and visit. Or when you're going through like the woods, like you see a fox, and the fox will lead you to like a little, which is really
Shrine
cool,
or
where you get to go over
something.
and like pet the fox. That
Yeah.
was game of the year material straight away. But where like the fox or the animals will lead you to like you said, like a stone kind of cave area or whatever, or somewhere where you can get a bit of extra loot or a save point or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just cool seeing that they're kind of going down that route of like learning from the environment and being immersed in the game, rather than, because Assassin's Creed is the worst for it, where
Yeah.
they make these massive, huge open worlds, but then you open your map and you've got 700 different waypoints of things you can
Yeah.
go to. So you're just going from point to point and place to place and here to there, but you're never looking around you at the amazing world that they create, unless you like yourself choose to do that. Like, you
Yeah.
never have to go to a place and like figure out where I need to go to next. You just go to here and go to there. And I found it so many times playing Assassin's Creed where I just run through these amazing towns and villages because I know that there's nothing in there on the map. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing there for me to see. So if I'm running around looking at it, it's purely it's just to look at it. Like, I know there's nothing on the map because you haven't showed me anything on the map, and that's what you do in this game. So the fact that this is going to be a game where, like Red Dead, the more you wander and the more you go into this random house that is over on the hill, or the more that you follow the animals or follow the wind or whatever, that will take you to interesting places. So it's going to encourage you to actually explore the area more than like an Assassin's Creed game, you know?
Yeah, like I'm totally all about the idea of like using like no HUD or no map or anything like that, because the way the tech demo and the way most tech demos show things is that they have like, you know, the overall screen that literally has nothing on it, doesn't have a mini map, doesn't have like the waypoints outside of what you normally see, and only small things come up like in combat or in stealth, where, you know, like the marker comes up to show that if you're being seen or not as well, or maybe kind of like a thing pops up to say what village you're in or something along those lines. Like, I think that's fantastic, and that's really exciting, because any game that feels like, well, any open world game that feels that ballsy to go, you know, there's no map, there's no HUD, and there's enough waypoints that people will find a way around, is ballsy, but it shows really good game design as well. So yeah, like
Yeah.
it, like, even though it has been on the radar for such a long time, I feel like it's crept up on me a little bit, which I'm really happy about. Like, I've seen plenty of trailers for it, but they're few and far between, and a lot of the story stuff hasn't really been spoiled for me yet. So I'm really, really excited to jump into this. Like, you know,
Yeah.
everything that I'm seeing looks quite new, and it definitely does have a look of Assassin's Creed about it more than anything else. But as long as it's a more polished version of that, I think that's going to be excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely. I can see why Assassin's Creed decided not to go down like their Japan route.
Yeah.
People have been wanting, because that's exactly what this game is. Essentially, it's just that,
Yeah.
like, if they were to make an Assassin's Creed game and show us this gameplay demo, like, we would be like, oh yeah, that looks exactly like Assassin's Creed, because that's essentially what it looks like in a way. And that's similar to like the combat, because you can do combat either stealthily, or you can do combat like where you just straight up and attack them. But the
Mhm.
fight mechanics, when you do like the straight up like the actual combat
Yeah.
mechanics with people one on one, does look kind of cool. And you kind of use like the swords and stuff that you have. Like it's very much
Mhm.
like you can have like a one shot kind of kill. If you like, I guess timing and stuff right. But it'll be interesting to see um when we kind of get into that gameplay, if it feels like something new or if it's just kind of like
Mhm.
similar to like other games we've had, because even the stealth mechanic, when they were showing the gameplay, it was very much like, oh, it's cool, but we've seen that before. Like I've seen run into a rooftop and then throwing something over there that stuns them, and then you run around
Yeah.
them and you get, like, we've seen that. So that part of it for me wasn't like, oh, this is like completely new combat mechanics that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they just didn't reveal too much, to kind of
Mhm.
give it away, because you kind of learn as you're going and kind of get better at it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And one of the really cool things that showed off was their photo mode that they have
Mhm.
in it, which is just beautiful.
Yeah. Like it's something that I won't use though as well, like which is kind of bad as well. But yeah, like it just like the big thing to take away from this, like the gameplay, it looks good, it looks fun. I take the kind of the opinions on like the fighting mechanics and the stealth, and I do think it looks quite Assassin's Creedy. But the thing about this game that really stands out is just the environments and how beautiful this game looks.
Mm,
There's certain scenes where you can see where they're on a hill and a mountain, and you see like all the the kind of pink trees all around as well. You see the mountain in the background, and you see
yeah,
the camps lighting up as well. Like it's just everything about this game is absolutely stunning. Like
yeah.
it's just gorgeous. And as you mentioned before, I think this probably will get some form of a remaster when the PS5 comes out, and it'll look even more stunning then. So
Yeah,
yeah, it'll
exactly. Yeah.
just be yeah. Like again, dying to get my hands on it as well. But I will say that I am excited by it as well. But like I don't know if this is going to be my game of the year either as well. Like it doesn't look like it's going to do too much different that I'm going to be like blown away by it. But
Yeah, that was
I think I'll have to wait and see and play it.
Yeah, that was the one takeaway I had from it, in the negative side, that like it just didn't seem like anything I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
It seemed like you said, it was taking a lot of the good stuff from other games and kind of making them into this game that's got a completely new environment that we haven't really seen before, at least in games I've
Mhm.
played. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they can just do that, because that's essentially what Spider-Man did, where there wasn't a whole apart from the
Yeah.
swinging mechanics in Spider-Man, which is amazing, but a lot of the like gameplay and the fighting and the combat style and everything, that was all we'd seen a lot of that before. But if this can do what Spider-Man done, whereas like take the best parts from a lot of other games, put them
Mhm.
together in a new environment and a new way, and make it work, that's what I'd totally be on for. Awesome, yeah. So can't wait for that. And finally, we finish up with any random recommendations. What have you
Yeah.
been watching or playing or listening to this week, Lorcan? You have been watching Normal People? So Normal People has been
I have
all
indeed.
over. Normal People has been the big thing, in particular in Ireland here, because it's just started airing, but it's also been on Hulu
Massive in
for a
America.
week or two now. So I think it's been,
Hmm.
yeah, it's getting a lot of hype over in the US as well. A lot of people are
Hmm.
watching it and checking it out. So I personally, I think I'm only about 3 or 4 episodes in. And
Hmm.
you are much further in. So we'll chat about it a little bit. No
I'm on
spoilers though.
10.
What's your take on it?
I absolutely love this, and like I was just talking about with his Dark Materials, the kind of lack of acting there as well, or how it was not believable. Like both Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones, like kind of two newish actors to the scene on a lot of some, especially Paul actually being the main character, he plays Connell, is just incredible. Like this show is ridiculously good. Like I really, really, really like it, and it's not my like. I wouldn't have said that this type of show is my cup of tea at all, really. But as soon as I
Mm,
got into it, it just like I think the watch time, because they're only 30-minute long as well,
yeah,
and the way it kind of like no spoilers for the stories, but the way the whole thing is cut up, it's kind of a life cycle rather than over the course of a year or something like that. It's kind of over a longer period of time, and I
yeah,
think it new little snippets on how they're broken down, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of filler. It's all kind of proper story development the whole way through. Like it's just the pacing is just fantastic, and I really really enjoyed the show, and I have 2 more episodes of it to go. I never read the book, so I don't really know what's going to happen, and
yeah.
yeah, just the acting in this is absolutely superb. Like I've yeah, like I've definitely been turned over like everyone else for this show. Have you enjoyed it, or
Yeah.
have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same boat as you. Like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in, so I'm really kind of like looking forward to keep going
Hmm.
with the show. But it's a weird in the sense that like it's such a no, like it's called Normal People, but it is such a
Hmm.
normal show. Yet it's for some reason I'm so engaged in it. And like you said,
Oh.
it's the two leads, like their chemistry between the two of them,
Hmm.
and just like the way, like you said, the way the story is broken up and the pacing and everything. And like, there's no doubt that the fact that I'm Irish, I'm just like, oh, look at that. That's exactly
Oh.
what this was like. And that's exactly what it was like when I was a kid or whatever.
It's
Like, you're looking
so
at like,
relatable, like
yeah, so
as in the
relatable.
relationship, fair enough. I can't really relate to it to that degree as well, but like every other part of kind of like school life, the way people are acting, the way like the
Yeah.
football stuff is portrayed, like the nights out, that type of thing. And there's a scene that I think is coming up for you now, again, no spoilers, but it's just it shows a disco, like a kind of like a nightclub in like rural Ireland, and it's so
Yeah.
painful that like it's just like I see it and it just reminds me of our nightclub from our rural town. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just everything about it is so painful, like it's just so relatable, and I love it. Like, and the more I watch it, it just feels like someone done a really good rendition of what Irish like is, or what Irish life is like in a rural kind of town, and it tackles themes that I can relate to. Like, like I love watching American shows, but like I don't get the high school dynamic, and I don't really get everything else, and the only thing I've
Yeah.
really seen is cliches, whereas this seems like a true representation of something that I can relate to. And
Yeah.
I like, and maybe it's that reason that I'm just in love with it. Like, it's such a good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it really is. And it's one of those shows as well that like it seems like everybody is getting into, like the general public is in particular, like every age group is kind of getting into watching it as well. Definitely not a show you want to watch with your parents. Just
Oh
we're
God,
just gonna
no.
put that straight out there, because obviously it's airing on, I don't know if it's airing on BBC or RT or what it is in Ireland, but
Mhm.
if you're thinking of watching this show, watch it in a different room than your parents if you're at home with
Yeah,
your parents or whatever, especially if you're in quarantine now, because there's gonna be nowhere to go afterwards when you want to get away from the situation that's happening in the show. But yeah,
yeah.
like you said, I think that relatability factor for me in particular definitely is like, that's a huge part of what at the beginning, because like even in the first
Mhm.
episode where they're just kind of setting things up and they're just like driving around in the crappy car with your mates and
Mhm.
they're going to the match, and then how like the dynamic of just them
Mhm.
sitting outside a classroom waiting for the class to start, like the
Yeah,
chat
forgot
and
about
the
that.
conversation that's going on there. It's just, you're watching, you're like, that is exactly what it was like. And like you
Yeah.
said, it's amazing just how well they translate that and they caught it, because it's so often in shows, like you said, it's just it's cliche after cliche, and it's American high school is what you see the whole time. And even in Irish shows, like, yeah, I've never seen like the Irish teenage dynamic in school done
Yeah.
so modernly and so well as well,
It's so
um
excellent. Like, it's just
yeah, it
it's
really
nearly
really is.
flawless. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, so I
And
can't
then
recommend it enough.
the college take as well, like again, like when it comes on a little bit later in the show, I think episode 4 kind of onwards as well, it's the college kind of ones, and the college scene even more so, again, is just, it's so spot on, it's insane. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just everything about this show is absolutely incredible. So yeah,
Yeah.
um I'm sure everyone's watching it, but for anyone who isn't watching it, just get on it. Like, it's so good.
Yeah,
But don't watch it with
absolutely.
your parents, because there's
Yeah.
there's prolonged sex scenes, and they're uncomfortable if you're watching it with a parent. So just as
Yeah,
an FYI.
just a heads up. Yeah. Sweet. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for random recommendations. Did you have anything else, or
I've
sweet?
watched a few other things, but nothing really out there. So I think we'll leave it. I think we'll leave it for today.
Awesome. Um, well, yeah, thanks guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and we're trying to kind of grow the channel. We've just started on YouTube as well, so if you're listening to us on YouTube, probably should have said this at the very beginning, but please subscribe to the channel. Help us out with kind of getting the numbers up. If you know anyone else that you think would be interested in the show,
Yeah.
or in the Instagram page or anything like that, please share it, tell a friend, all that kind of good stuff would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're gonna just keep pumping these out. We're hopefully gonna aim for every Sunday now going forward. And then, like we said in last week's one, we're going to hopefully start doing some video content of our own in a couple of weeks as well. So look forward to that. So that's why you're telling people to subscribe, for the future,
More
planning for the
content.
future. Exactly. Yeah. More and more content. But yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
Enjoy quarantine. Hopefully we'll be
Yeah.
out of it soon.
Wash your hands,
And
everyone.
exactly, this is how we're going to log off every time now.
Yeah, just wash your hands.
Cough into
Yeah.
your elbow. Be a
Yeah.
sound person.
Just be nice, and just don't cough. Don't go outside. Stay inside forever.
Alrighty, guys. We'll see you next week.
Say bye, Jimmy.